welcome to the Movie Section Show. My name is Fariba, and tonight we're about to watch the final episode of House of Dragon Season 2. It's kind of remarkable that we've actually gone to the end of the road for Season 2. It just started about a couple months ago now. Of course, we actually have 2 less episodes than we got from Season 1 because we're only getting 8 episodes this season. Part of that is just because of, the creative decision from the showrunner Ryan Condell. And now here it is. We've now reached the end of Season 2. We've now seen a good snippet of what this Targaryen Civil War has now become. We've seen the consequences. We've seen the deaths. We've seen the violence. We've seen so far a good peak of what this is. And I'm just saying peak because we're still going to have a lot of it. We're going to have another season and probably another season after that because I believe there is a plan for 4 to 5 seasons for this show. So we know for a fact Season 3 is going to happen. That's right now in development. And I believe there's also going to be a shorter period in between Season 2 and Season 3. So yeah, it won't take long. Hopefully we'll get to see a little bit more of Dance of the Dragon. I know that there's a lot of questions going into this final episode where we're finally going to see Daemon get out of Harrenhal and finally rejoin Rhaenyra. What does that last moment mean for Rhaenyra after now finally secured riders for her, riderless dragons that were without a rider for quite some time? And what this means moving forward now that, Rhaenyra has a dragon army, right? Is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? We're going to see the consequences of that. So yeah, without further ado, let's get right down into the Season 2 finale of House of Dragon Season 2.
Oh, Essos is as rich and is as vast.
It seems you need us more than we need you.
You'll drive up the price of basic goods.
It is better than starving, surely.
Oh, this is not a good idea.
A fleet of warships, then. Sailing at your...
Prince Regent may have me hanged for this.
With the armada we send now, you can topple the Prince Regent and sit the Iron Throne yourself.
Of course, there is...
Foreshadow.
One more condition.
I will not sail with a man who cannot best me.
I like her.
At what?
What the hell happened?
We must leave King's Landing quickly, and we will not return for some time.
What?
The Pretender is the same. He flew to challenge her and was rebuffed. Fled in terror, from what I hear.
Rumors run fast.
Be that as it may, he has gone in fury to Sharp Point and laid waste to the whole of the town.
Fucking mad cunt.
I like to agree on that.
She really did it then. Why must I run?
Because the Prince Regent is going to kill you. When Rhaenyra descends on you with her 7 dragons and you without Vhagar, what then?
Larry's is smart.
You want to take me to Essos to live with the goat fuckers?
It's best to live, I think. However,
My dragon is dead. I am burnt and
Dragon's
disgusting.
Safare's dead?
And I'm a cripple. Destroyed, did they tell you that? It burst into flames like a sausage on a spit.
do not despair, your grace. There are better days ahead. His father's true heir, Aegon the Victorious, risen from the ashes. Aegon the Peacemaker. Aegon the Rebuilder.
Those are better names for sure than
Aegon
Magnum
the
Monus.
Realm's Delight.
Please tell me Rhaena gets a dragon.
Prince Jacaerys Velaryon.
Prince Jacaerys Velaryon. Right here. Who'd have thought it?
Ah, the young prince!
Look at that hair. As dark as they say.
Prince Regent has burned Sharp Point down to its stones. Thousands of its folk, dead or lost, its harbour in ashes. Will you prepare to face such an enemy? If you hinder our efforts through sloth or unreadiness, I will see you hanged and your body fed to the dogs in the street.
I meant no disrespect, my prince.
Wow.
Longer than Vermax.
But a dragon nonetheless.
Mm.
And you forget another.
Moon Dancer.
Helena. She does not ride. She has no taste for it.
She may yet be compelled. And her dragon.
Dreamfire. Hatched
Oh,
when the Conqueror's
Dreamfire.
king. She is formidable. Still, Helena is no warrior.
I would listen to him.
Aemon thought himself invincible. He will not stop at burning Sharp Point, and he will not be denied.
You speak truly.
Mm-hmm.
I wish it was not so.
He's the hand of the queen for a reason.
I've given her a new name. Queen who never was.
Corliss. I
Beautiful
thank
name.
you.
Was. Another player that is yet to be revealed.
Oh, Damon.
Your Grace, a word. It seems the sheep on our...
But you are a leader of men. If you declare yourself, your lords will follow you.
I never took you for a turncloak. Sir
Aw,
Alfred.
he's so upset that he wants to go and betray Rhaenyra because he got slapped.
Rhaenyra's intentions are good. Is a king.
That's called treason. Just so you know.
Where would I go?
Finally, she's actually thinking about her well-being.
In place now, do what is necessary to preserve the throne.
I won't burn anyone.
It isn't a question.
They have defiled our birthright, made commoners into dragon lords.
Wow.
It's a sin and must be punished.
May I remind you, your sister is still the queen.
Point of your weakness, we are in peril today more than yesterday.
Oh, he's trying
that
to...
moved you to
Wow.
burn the town of Sharp Point. Peril or basest fury at your own humiliation.
Finally.
You wish to rule the Seven Kingdoms, but you rain ruin and death upon its small folk when you've been insulted. And now you seek to corrupt your sister. Of all our line, the gentlest and most deserving of your protection.
Who will protect her if she
Finally,
cannot
someone's
protect
And
herself?
who will she be if her mind is broken? Not like this.
Finally. She's taking some control and command. And that took her so long, huh?
I need passage. In your discretion.
Passage. Ooh, is she trying to get Helena out? Oh, Kristan's back.
Lord Commander.
Oh, so he figured it out.
I think of nothing else, my lord.
Steward's son from Dawn. Fucking the Queen of the Seven Kingdoms.
Oh, he figured it out so.
She is my sister.
She saved my life. Twice. Once from the headsman's axe and once from myself. Perhaps they do. Or perhaps all men are corrupt,
He's not wrong on that
and
assessment.
true honor is a mist. We march now toward our annihilation.
He's not wrong.
To die will be a kind of relief.
Okay.
Don't you think?
He's still a cunt. He's still a cunt. Oh, last time. Oh, ew, yeah, yikes, ew.
Have you ever eaten the flesh of your enemies?
I have not, and I would not.
So you reject the hospitality of my house?
Are they implying cannibalism? Oh, okay, cool. Oh, right.
A jest, my lord.
Okay, cool.
You take me for.
Oh, that would have been.
I'm not pouting.
What would you call it then?
Called Blue Steel.
I'm reading.
Why your mother? Do you believe that you are the first noble heir who was not sired by his noble father? Such is the way of the world, Jace.
She
And
right.
in resenting it, you only diminish yourself.
Easy enough to say.
Boston, send it up
Lannisters and their music.
betwixt the wind and water. Hoist me, lads, and hoist again.
I love how she keeps saying his name wrong.
Good song! And let the sea snake rue the day we meet again.
Yeah, my king will be well pleased to friendship.
Oh, is this like belly dancing?
Lord Tyler,
Finally, she said that right.
you are a handsome man, and you have proven your worth. And
Oh, is she gonna
You're
promote
related.
marriage? Is she gonna promote marriage?
I wish to have children by you.
Yeah.
You want me to?
Indeed. I want you to fuck my wives.
She has
How
wives.
many
Okay.
wives do you have?
More wine here. Taming a dragon's thirsty work.
Oh boy.
Serve me well, and I will make you knights of the realm.
Huh? What do you think of that, boys? We'll be knights. Just like that.
We will not fail you, my queen.
She is. We're afraid of nothing. Even if you are.
There will be time enough to see which one of us is a coward.
Oh.
I said more of these little
calling him out.
birds.
But Sir Simon fears treachery.
Of course.
I will not allow it.
Oh my god, we're still in this haunted mansion story. Is that a centaur? Is that the three-eyed raven? Oh my god. And the white walkers! Ah, Game of Thrones! Oh my god. Danny! Is that Danny? Amelia?
It's all a story. And you're but one part in it. You know your part.
Oh. Prophecy to prophecy, huh? Helena. Oh my jeez. Oh my jeez, Helena.
Sister. Come with me. To Harrenhal.
We will lay waste to Damon and his
Shit
army.
going on here in Hall, isn't it?
Let our enemies see.
Will you burn me as you did Aegon?
Oh, she knows. Oh.
It's a lie.
I saw it.
Is she a Three-Eyed Raven or something?
You burned him. And you let him fall.
Nah, that ain't treason. You're just committing treason, my dude.
Aegon will be king again. He's yet to see victory.
I think she
He
just
sits on a wooden throne. And you. You'll be dead.
Oh shit. She just gave us the future.
You were swallowed up in the god's eye. And you were never seen again. It wouldn't change anything.
Oh, frick. Oh. So we know Aemon's gonna die soon. Hold your horses. You're on the same side. Oh, we're about to be in the middle of a marriage conflict, huh?
And to whom are you sworn?
This is gonna be groundbreaking.
Nerissa. Sola Arnazis. So plumi vejume. Uyunda.
Oh, now you finally saw it whole.
Juragon costo tutta warundan. Is a leader who can unite it, and my brother chose you.
Finally, this puts an end to this marriage conflict. Oh, finally.
You are the true queen, Rhaenyra. First of her name. Protector of the realm. I am meant to serve you.
Finally, Damon! After a whole fucking season.
Or the end of our story.
Vindication. Ha! Yeah, we know what you did.
Silulan. My queen.
Finally. It took a whole freaking season.
We fight for our queen!
What a proud moment.
You may go.
Do you know what it was like for us? To grow up fatherless?
There you
Snared
go.
upon us bastards. Never sure of the bread to feed us. Now that boy is dead. And his sister before him. And the heir that took his place. And now you remember I live.
Yikes.
Now you wish to suddenly to scatter the crumbs.
And it's true, he only started getting to know him once most of his family members died. So you can't blame him for calling him out on that.
To claim it, I must strike. And in striking, I doom thousands to their deaths.
I like that she appreciates and
I do not believe
understands
my
the
father would wish
dangers.
this.
Mm-hmm.
He left you with
She
no
lost.
choice. Be strong.
Is it Alicent? Ha!
Glad to see you. I've been, I think, mistaken.
Finally!
In what? I was raised to believe there was an order to things, that there was security in following the path laid out for us. I resented you, I think, for caring so little for any of it, for knowing what you wanted.
Being accountable?
I did not know what I wanted. I knew only what was expected of me. Taken from me. All those I put my faith in, my husband, my father, my lover, my son.
The incorruptible queen sullies herself with a lover.
I love you!
My father died, I took comfort with another. I too have desires.
Yes, but you alone made virtue your banner.
And I clung
Call
to
it. Call her out for hypocrisy.
in defiance of you, I think, who so disdained it. Could not have been challenged regardless.
Did not your hand bring it forth like a midwife?
I did only what I thought your father wanted.
It's true.
Oh, go then.
Miscommunication.
If I am to take the throne, I must put an end to the opposition. I must take Aegon's head. And I have to do it for all to see. You know this. However you may try to evade it, you know this. Choose.
Ho 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 ho.
A son for a son.
Son for a son. Oh shit, she just gave her the yes.
History will paint you a villain. Cold queen.
Let them think what they must. I am at last myself, with no ambition greater than to walk where I please and to breathe the open air.
I see Winterfell, oh, these darks. Oh my jeez, oh my jeez. Oh my god, that's the Reigns of Castamere sounds. Oh my god. Are we going to get Caraxes versus Vhagar? Hightower was imprisoned. Alrighty, so that was the House of the Dragon Season 2 finale right there. Not a whole lot in terms of the action that a lot of people probably were anticipating, but I have to say, I think in terms of the purpose that this episode served, it just shows, it just gives the foreshadow of what is yet to come. I mean, this is like another way of saying the calm before the storm, I guess, part 2.5, I don't know, we're somewhere, right? Another calm before the storm, because for one thing, the Greens, for the one thing, I mean, yes, this war has already began. It began back in episode 4, the moment that we saw Rhaenys' death and at Rook's Rest, right? This was a point where the Greens were at their high point, the Blacks were at their low point, but then since last episode, I would say that not only has the Black started to finally rise up to the occasion, but I think this is maybe the first episode where we finally get to see the Blacks have the most advantage now, right? They have lots of dragon riders, lots of dragons that are now being flown by riders. That we just saw what happened in Harrenhal. Daemon got all the armies coming from the Tully side, I think the Glover side, compiled a pretty big army. On top of that, with Daemon finally realizing what is really the main concern going into it. Like this, like I think he's finally now realized that, yeah, this war is just senseless. This war is not our main battle. Our war is with the situation going on with the White Walkers, which we'll talk about in a second. So really, we're kind of seeing a big high for the Blacks and a low for the Green, especially when we're looking at someone like Alicent. So there's really a lot to break down. So of course, like as I said, the Blacks are at a high point. Greens are kind of whatever. We finally got the answer to Otto. Like he seems to have been in prison somewhere. The question is, where is he, right? So that's already a big question right there. Alicent, just seeing her, right? I mean, I know this season, I think at least up until episode 5 or 6, right? She hasn't been as active as a character as a lot of people were imagining, right? But we knew that she is reeling through with the truth of what Viserys was really trying to talk about, which is that, you know, the story of Ice and Fire, Aegon the Conqueror, how there's, you know, something, a bigger threat beyond. And with her finally realizing her mistake, she's been now reeling with this guilt of hers that, you know, because of the fact that she just jumped to conclusions like that, now we have this whole senseless war. And let's be honest, this whole war we're having is senseless. We all know this, right? Despite the fact that some of us will, you know, say we're Team Black, we're Team Green. Yes, I'm still Team Black. But even that being the case, right, we can acknowledge that this is a senseless war. People are going to die from both sides. Lots of innocents are going to die. This was pointed out in this episode. Even Rhaenyra acknowledges that, you know, with the power that she has, and the fact that she has to go and kill people, she's already feeling guilty about this. And so we know that overall with this war, there's going to be senseless death, there's going to be unnecessary death, there's going to be unnecessary violence, all that sort of shebang. And now here's Alicent coming to Rhaenyra with a proposal to find an end to this war, which, again, we're seeing Aemon. Like, I mean, Aegon was one thing where he could have at least been, you know, been under control. But then there's Aemon. So, sorry. Aegon is the one who was able to be controlled. Aemon is the one who's really showing himself to be very ferocious, who lacks the kind of like the people person idea, and more so focused on his own vengeance. And that is now going to be very costly with this war, because all he wants to do is show himself as a formidable warrior rather than just being an actual, you know, worthy leader. And Alicent's starting to realize that. She realizes her mistake. She's now realized that because of her mistake, that this has now led to a monster, you know, on the Iron Throne. And the only way to protect her one child who doesn't want to even be involved in this is she has to make sacrifices. And we see that here at the very end where, you know, finally Rhaenyra she's the one now in control. And, you know, now she's willing to give up her son if it means having to protect Helaena, the one person who's been hurt in all this, even though she has nothing to do with this, right? So just to see Alicent in this moment, and I have to say, like, I mean, I've said shit about Alicent the last 2 seasons, you know, I'm very aware of this. I've called out her hypocrisy. And here's the thing, like, it's important to call out the hypocrisy. It is very important to realize that there needs to be accountability. And I do appreciate the fact that she's finally realized her mistakes. And I will say this is maybe the first time in a long while that I've actually sympathized with Alicent, because after all of this, right, after realizing with everything she has done, and, you know, in a sense, like, she made a really, yes, in a way it is a miscommunication on her hand, but one that's very costly. Now she's doing all she can to try and amend what is basically her sins. Like, she's not just only thinking about it not only is she thinking about it as someone who's a mother to her children, but she's also thinking about it as someone who's faithful as her, who's realizing that she has now committed a lot more sins, and now she needs to do something that she can to try and alleviate that. And so I have to say, this is maybe the first time where I actually will sympathize with Alicent, because now she's at a really low point. She has no one in her life. There's the one person that she's willing to defend is Helaena, and she'll do anything that she can if it means having to sacrifice both her sons. And now we got to see her. She's reeling. I mean, she's not starting to realize that she's losing everything because of the fact that, one, she did have a grudge on Rhaenyra for a long, long time, and then eventually when that rivalry was amended, that was quickly turned into another whole problem with the whole war and her putting her son onto the Iron Throne, even though it's been known time and time again how much Viserys loved Aemma, and it's like it just doesn't make sense for him to just suddenly change his mind right as he's about to die, right? So I think she's finally acknowledging it. It might be the one time where I'm just like, you know what, I'm actually sympathetic to her, and this is why I love the show so much, because I mean, as much as the fact that we've seen the terrible side of so many characters, I mean, Jaime Lannister being one example, right? Just seeing how many characters that, you know, and seeing where they go, and even characters that, you know, we perceive them to be the antagonists, the show does a really great job of showcasing that even some of the biggest threats or the biggest antagonists can sometimes have their own faults, and we're seeing the humane side of them. And I really appreciate that, where we're actually seeing how human Alicent is, how humans are making mistakes. And here's Alicent being a human, trying to somehow fix all of this, right? Because she now knows that had she not caused this war would never gone through in the first place. Now, would Rhaenyra's throne be contested? Yes, that's certainly sure. Like, I mean, there's no denying that it would have been contested, because there's so many guys out there who do not acknowledge, you know, a female ruler. I mean, we're seeing that in real time too. But even then, right? I mean, it's not as though that whole idea would have gone, you know, pretty quickly. What really set the stage is the fact that Alicent herself is the one who convinced the council to then put Aegon on the throne without just realizing the repercussions and realizing, like, maybe they're just thinking too straightforward on this. Thinking too straight on this decision. So I have to say, I think just seeing the Rhaenyra bit, the Alicent bit and their final conversation in that moment, I mean, or maybe not even that final, we're probably gonna see more of this, but that's just seeing that conversation is just like chilling. And then of course we see Daemon is finally acknowledging, you know, that, you know, his ruse against Rhaenyra is just stupid. It's useless. And I have to say, I mean, as much as we all hated the whole haunted house story, the whole haunted mansion story, because yeah, it took way too long. I can see why they left it off to the end, because, I mean, I guess you can say this is a way of Daemon having an aligning moment where he's now realized that, you know, him, like, let's be honest, like, we've seen with Daemon, he's someone who's so reckless, who will just jump into any war. He'll more likely would kill someone than actually let them speak. Like, he's just someone who takes action, then really think about the moment. But this is like maybe the one time that we can actually look at Daemon and realize that he's actually making a rational decision, because of the fact that he saw that vision. He saw what Alice Rivers, he saw what Helena showed him. The prophecy, the Song of Ice and Fire, the fact that there's White Walkers who, you know, because of the threat that they need all of Westeros and the living to somehow rise up, be together for once, and actually fight something that's a bigger threat. Then we see Daenerys, right? We see the call to Daenerys. We see the 3 eggs. We see the dragons. We see what is basically the episode of The Long Night. And as much as the fact that episode, yeah, I mean, yes, I will say, I mean, just seeing those visions, I mean, it was like, it made you excited, but then it's like, but we already know what happens, and yeah. So, but as much as the fact that we already know what happens and what this is basically showcasing, I think that, I mean, just the fact that, again, these are the descendants of, I believe, Jon Snow. That's what I believe it is. Like, this is Jon Snow's side of the family, and them finally seeing what the real threat is, and Daemon seeing what the real threat is, and why he chose Rhaenyra, and why Viserys chose Rhaenyra over him. I mean, he's finally realized what it is, and even his vision says, like, Rhaenyra is the key to all of this, the key to keeping the realm safe. Otherwise, you know, the dead will come, and the winter is coming. I mean, the references, all the Game of Thrones references, love them. I mean, it's like, I love that we sometimes will get some references to Game of Thrones. This one definitely had a lot. Again, Daenerys, the 3 eggs, Jon Snow walking across the White Walkers, although it does seem so that they had a different actor play the Night King. And then of course Winter's Coming, we see the Starks marching, and yeah, so lots of great moments right there. I mean, again, just to see this Haunted Mansion storyline finally be over, it's like, oh, finally. That means that when we get into season 3, he's probably going to be a lot more active in the compacted side. So, yeah, so that was great. Rhaenyra, seeing how she's acknowledging the fact that, you know, she doesn't want to kill people, and that's why her father put her up in the first place, and yet that's the only way to end the war. I mean, it's so hard to make those decisions as a ruler, and realizing what the consequences would be when she conducts those acts of violence. But yeah. And then of course Aemon being an asshole that he is, and just the fact that he actually just attacked what was it? It looked like a village of some sort, and was it like a shame point or something like that? Some sort of point, you know, area. But just the fact that he set a whole city on fire, it's just like, whoa. Like, I mean, I think that showcases why Aemon needs to be stopped as soon as possible. So yeah, I have to say, I think, again, considering the fact that this episode is so focused on just building up to season 3, I mean, it does make me excited for it. Yes, it's not the most action-packed. Again, I thought there was gonna be a lot of action, but it seems as though they decided to just hold off those stuff, all the big stuff, to season 3, because from the looks of it, it seems as though that things are only starting to brew in terms of this whole war that we have, this whole civil war between Targaryen family members. We now know what the stakes are going into season 3. Aemon is, you know, with his army, the Hightower army, with the Lannister army. Daemon has Harrenhal now. He now feels a little bit more secured with, you know, with the army that he has, considering the fact that, you know, we're up with the Black Sword in the beginning. Rhaenyra finally has Daemon's trust, and the fact that, you know, she's been given this detail from Alicent about Aemon, what the plans are, and what could be the potential next strike, I guess. And then you have Aegon and Larys escaping and trying to, you know, find some safe passage for the meantime, so that way Aegon could still survive. So that could be leading up to something later on down the road. And then of course Helaena. I mean, just the Helaena bit with her prophecy and how she's being very prophetic with Alice Rivers. I mean, that was pretty incredible. Just the fact that she even foreshadows what's going to happen to Aemon. Like, I mean, it sounds as though that we kind of know what's going to happen to Aemon in season 3. So yeah, death and destruction and violence, it's all going to be the key to going to season 3. I love that. I have to say, I think what this show keeps on doing a great job of is showing the character development, showing what the characters are feeling in the moment, the whole storyline, the stakes. Again, the visual cinematography. I have to say, even the last bit that we had right there, seeing where everyone is, how they're feeling, the stakes of it all, the chill, the music that's playing in the background, just realizing that, wow, we're about to get into we're getting down to some really big, you know, moments and high stakes. I mean, it's pretty incredible what this show can do. We're finally getting into some really big moments and big events, I guess you can say. But wow, like, this is, I have to say that closing bit is just great. It reminds me of season 6, the season 6 finale, where everyone is now just like, where Daenerys is taking, you know, her army from, you know, Essos, and realizing that she now has a big enough army to now fight off against those in Westeros. Like, that was kind of giving me that feel, like, all the just seeing how everyone is, where everyone is in the moment, that everyone is, you know, ready to strike and get into the hard bits of the war. And that's what we're seeing here, is just like that closing bit of, okay, everyone is now about to take their seats onto this chessboard right here. Now we've gone a very critical point in this war. Now we're just gonna have to hold it off until season 3. So, but yeah, I mean, overall this season, yeah, I mean, this is a pretty good season, aside from, you know, a couple of storylines that, you know, may have gone a little bit too long, like with the whole Daemon situation with the Haunted Mansion. But I do want to say that with Rhaenyra, just seeing how much she has evolved as a character and realizing who she is as a ruler, I think that really puts a little bit more insight to who she is. Again, once again, Emma D'Arcy with their performance as Rhaenyra. Absolutely spectacular. I hope that they do get some Emmy nominations. And even Olivia Cook, I think with what she had to deal with, and given the fact that she does have her role does get a little bit reduced in some of the later episodes, even that being the case, just seeing this side of Rhaenyra, I mean, with Alicent, I mean, I have to say, the performances here are absolutely spectacular. Just, again, this show would not work if it wasn't for the performances. And yeah, I mean, it's been quite a ride. I can't believe we only got 8 episodes, but I hope this means that going to season 3, we get back to the 10 episode format. Because I have to say, like, by the time we got to the end of this episode, I was like, oh man, that means that's it. This is the finale. We're probably gonna have to wait at least a year for season 3. Now, again, from what I'm aware of, the gap between the seasons, between season 2 and 3, shouldn't be as long as it was for season 1 and 2. So hopefully we'll get it by next year. Hopefully they'll start filming soon for season 3. Because I just can't imagine having to wait that long just for a new episode to come out and really get to get into some of the more magnificent, I wouldn't say magnificent, but just some of the more, how do I even try to describe it? Just getting down to some of the most frightening but most thrilling bits of this war, right? I mean, we have yet to see just the extent of the Dance of the Dragon and the Targaryen Civil War. I mean, this is just the beginning. Season 2 was just the beginning of the war. Season 2 is probably going to show kind of, I don't want to say climax, but really showcasing the extent of how dangerous this war is, how scary it is, how violent it will be. I think the best way to say how violent it will be, I don't think we've seen the extent of the violence of this war yet. So yeah, I can't wait. It sucks that we have to end this journey for the meantime. But I have to say, great season as always. House of Dragon, I mean, once again, blowing out of the waters. Let's just hope that this continues to be the ride and doesn't somehow turn into a Game of Thrones, like, sort of disappointment by the end. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say about the season 2 finale. I think that it's, again, what a way to really just end things off and keep things open for season 3. So yeah, that's all to say about the House of Dragon season 2 finale. Let me know your thoughts, having now seen the conclusion of what is basically the beginning of the war of the Targaryen Civil War. What are your thoughts about seeing kind of where everyone is at the moment, where everyone's positions are, whether it be something as being as high as where the Blacks are, seeing the Greens having somehow trying to do a counterattack? What do you think about Alicent's journey so far, having to see her have this change of what she's dealing with? Like, is anything going to change from that, or what we're going to expect from Rhaenyra moving forward? Is there something that we're not seeing right now in terms of where this war is going to go? Again, just no spoilers from Blood and Fire book, please. But what does this mean going forward? What are your expectations going into season 3, right? Because I think that's going to be a big thing. What are your expectations going to season 3? What does this mean for Daemon, Rhaenyra, all the characters so far here? What are some of the foreshadowing mean? I mean, what are your thoughts having seen that vision that we just had here? I mean, I know we're all just looking at it, we're like, yeah, but we saw what really happened. It's like, well, is there anything else that maybe there's something that we can still salvage from that? And let me know if you have any other thoughts and hopes and dreams going into season 3, and just anything that you want to talk about in terms of just overall season 2, the performances, just any other thoughts that you have as we close out this journey that we had. Let me know your thoughts below. Make sure to like and subscribe.